Hello everyone, Pallytime here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. We're going to start this stream up a few minutes early. Now, first of all, squeaky chair, this is a live stream. Normally I do these types of videos in a very meticulously edited environment so I can show you some high-octane gameplay and also make sure I say all of the right shit. So I'm probably going to mess up, as you could probably tell, not in my normal office. If you haven't been watching the live streams, I am in Ohio right now, so we're doing this in a live stream format rather than a recorded format. First things first, this is the build that I've been working on for a little bit now. It is pretty fun. Let's start out with a shore map. Let's show you some gameplay. You know what I'm saying? Let's turn on Beyond. I mean, why not? Let's have more enemies. Let me show you how the build works on a very, very basic level. We'll go in and we'll kill some shit, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously, a mid-tier map. We're not doing super high-tier maps for this demonstration. Lightning all over the ground. Don't want to fucking step on that. Essentially, this is my Golemancer. It uses 3 curses. I don't know if that is absolutely fucking necessary, but that's what we're doing. And essentially, this build walks through the game. As you can see, really not much to the complexity here at all. Most of the complexity comes in the setup for this particular build. The actual implementation of this build is extremely easy to do, although when we take a look at my talents, I do think, or my passives, I do, whoa, that took my fucking hand off the keyboard, because also when I do these, I do a lot of, like, when I speak, I do a lot of fucking, like, mannerisms with my hand. I don't all right, we're in the game. We're focusing. I think my health pool is drastically too low, and I think that might be because I stretched a little bit too far in the passive tree. We are level 78 right now, so this is when your build is usually coming together. And I'm thinking by about level 90, I think I'll have a decent amount of health nodes and energy shield nodes. I think I stretched out a little bit too early. Rather than focusing on the fundamentals of survivability, I kind of went for the triple curse thing and boosting our curse damage. The golems are just flame golems, and the idea here was that we're taking... The theory here is that... I'm fucking talking with my hands again. That we're taking a build that uses a particular mechanic in PoE that is usually an afterthought. Normally, people add in... Flame Golem as just a little bit of a boost of damage at the end of your build. You put it on a cast when damage taken setup, and then all of a sudden your golem's just there. Why is the golem there? Because he gives you like a 30% damage increase, some very minuscule damage increase. I don't know where to go with this map. Is it this way? Am I doing it? This is the water, so we would want to go inland. I'm figuring it out. So I wanted to take something that was an afterthought and make that the main focus of your build and kind of do the role reversal where the golem in most builds doesn't do anything. Now we're making it so the character in this build does nothing, generally speaking, and the golem, which is an afterthought in other builds, kind of becomes the star. So think about that. That's the mentality that we're really going for here. And as you can see, it's pretty successful. Pretty successful. A little bit of FPS lag. I'm not sure why. Of course, as I go to stream this video, we start to get lag. But it just completely clears through most stuff. Again, I don't think my health is quite as high as it should be. I don't think my energy shield is quite as high as it should be. A lot of that has to do with just the funding for this build because it's a little expensive. But also the fact that, again, I didn't quite do my passives right. And we are going to need to streamline that a little bit. We'll just make our way over to the boss, and I'll start to talk about the setup a little bit. So what we're using here is a helmet. It's not required. And again, I might go ahead and remove this from the setup later on based on what our defenses are looking like. But we're using a Heretic's Veil. And what this does is it's a unique helmet that's going to be giving us a Blasphemy Gem for free, which means we don't have to socket it, which means we could put 3 curses in the same helmet for our tri-curse setup, and then also run an Enlightenment gem, which is going to lower the mana cost of those blasphemy auras. So this character, without doing anything, from a very, very basic level, without doing anything, no maintenance here whatsoever, is going to be able to emanate 3 curses at any given time. It's buffing the fire damage of our golems with flammability. It is buffing the kind of elemental penetration that they get with, what the fuck is this one called? Elemental weakness. And we are also using Enfeeble on the enemy mobs, just to make it so they don't hit us quite as hard, because again, my health and energy shield is a bit on the lower end. But this is a level 75 map where we're a level 78 character, and our clear speed is as fast as we can run through the map, which is pretty cool. To get the 3rd curse, we are using the Dodre's Damning Paula Ring. This simply just gives us an extra curse that we can throw in. I guess I cleared the map. Kind of anticlimactic. I've never done this one, and now I have. Okay. All right. Great. But essentially it just gives us the 1 extra curse, so we could throw that in. I'm still using a tabula rasa for the 6 sockets linked together. I don't have a movement skill on my boots yet. I don't have I have nothing on my boots, but I don't have anything set up on my gloves either. This is the bare bones basic for what you need to kind of make this build work. So these 2 are totally optional. The Damning Ring and the Heretic's Veil, you don't need these. This is for the triple curse setup. I still haven't decided whether or not it's necessary. What you do need for the build, thank you Squeaky Chair, is the Clay Shaper's Rockbreaker. And this is going to allow you to summon 1 additional golem. It's also going to give you a free cast of a stone golem that we don't actually use. But it's going to allow you to have 1 additional golem. And we're dual wielding these. We have 2 of them. So we can summon 2 additional golems. So that gives us a grand total of 3 that we can summon without anything else. But then we go into our talent tree and we kind of buff that up a little bit too. Your offensive stats don't matter at all with this build. So you want to just be gearing for health, energy shield percentage increase, and energy shield flat number increase on top of your resistances as well. As far as my flasks, I still don't fucking know what I'm going to do. They're just kind of there. They're just doing stuff. If we go ahead and take a look at the passives, you can see I am a Necromancer Ascendant. We do have the Mistress of Sacrifice, which I just picked up. This allows our, what are these fucking called? The flesh offerings and the bone offerings. I couldn't think of the word. This allows those effects to also help us as well. So as we're walking around, you may have noticed as we were moving through, periodically I would just blow up a bunch of bodies. This is the flesh offering, and it's going to give us and our pets a movement speed increase for as long as the buff lasts. For this setup, we are running, I think it's on this one, yeah. We are running flesh offering with a clarity. Again, clarity is, I'll talk about the purpose for that soon. Doesn't need to be linked here at all. And then increased duration, obviously for the flesh offering. Then we have a cast when damage taken bone offering, which is going to give us a chance to, a 30% chance basically, to block spells and attacks. This is on a cast when damage taken setup, so when we do get hit, we kind of just explode all the corpses around us, like a white spirit will spawn over the mobs that we've killed nearby, and then all of a sudden we become significantly more defensive because of that setup. So that really comes in handy with the Mistress of Sacrifice. We also have Spirit Eater. Minions deal 30% increased damage. Desecrate creates 2 additional... Your minions deal more damage. This is the first one I picked up. And we're also using Commander of Darkness. Auras you cast grant 10% increased damage to your allies. These are our allies, so 10% increased damage to our pets there. And it's also going to increase their attack and cast speed, which means they fire off more projectiles. But what I like about it actually is the fact that it gives you 20% to all elemental resistances just for having clarity on. So we're using a super low level clarity here. If we turn off all of our other auras, you can see that clarity is actually only reserving 30 mana based on how we've kind of built this out. So for 30 mana, we get 20% to all our elemental resistances, which is pretty good. And again, I don't have a movement skill set in yet. I haven't quite decided what I want to do. I'm thinking a lightning warp. And then for our last setup, I don't even know. Probably something with Culling Strike. I haven't quite decided. This is, again, just the bare bones what you need to kind of make this build work, and then you can kind of make it your own from this point on. As far as the Flame Golems themselves, again, I am using the Tabula Rasa with Flame Golem. I have quality on all of these, which was rather expensive. Definitely helps. I don't know how necessary. But we have Flame Golem with minion damage support because we want our minions to deal more damage. We have Elemental Focus support. It's going to increase their elemental damage by a shit ton, actually. We have greater multiple projectiles, so when these guys find an enemy to actually attack, go ahead and head back. When these guys find an enemy to attack, they're going to fire a significant amount of projectiles at them, and this is how we're getting the effect where they kind of fill the screen. To go along with that, we also have Spell Echo, which causes a spell cast to happen multiple times, which again helps with kind of filling the entire screen with these projectiles. And then we also have the controlled destruction support, which is lowering the amount of actual AoE damage they do, because as you can see, they have no problem just completely demolishing everything on the screen. So it's lowering the spread of the AoE, but in return increasing the damage of the AoE by a pretty significant margin. So half of your damage comes from just having curses up, and you can do a double curse setup with this really, really easily. I tried to go for the try just to see if we could take it a little bit further. I still don't know if it's necessary, and I know I've said that a few times, but you can do just a double curse setup really easy, and that's where like half of your damage is going to come from. And then the other half is just your golems going in and doing shit, and I can just sit here and AFK and talk about the rest of my stats here. So we started at the Witch Tree, obviously. We went up and grabbed the increased maximum life and increased mana, and then the maximum energy shield increases. Then went for the Lord of the Dead, went up for the jewelry slot. You'll notice as we look at our tree, we have a lot of jewelry slots, and this is very important. Also, these jewels are a little expensive. Some of them, anyway. Some of them are like 1 chaos each. Some of them are 100 fucking chaos. So, good luck. This is the Anima Stone Prismatic Jewel. You can summon up to 1 additional golem at a time. So we have our 1 golem that we can summon normally. We have 2 more from our weapons that we're dual wielding. And then with this, we get a 4th golem. So that's how we get 4 out of the 5. If you have 3 primordial jewels in your talent tree, you can then summon another, which is how we get the 5. So we have the Anima Stone for that setup just to allow us to summon even more. Where did I put the other ones? Oh, I really should have looked at my tree before I did this. We have the Primordial Harmony Cobalt Jewel. Golems skills have a 21% increased cooldown recovery speed. Golems have 14% increased cooldown recovery speed. Basically, when your golems die, you can summon them faster. And I'm actually thinking about socketing more of these in the build rather than the attack speed ones that I'll show you in just a moment. That's it. Holy shit, I should have looked before we started. Attack speed. Okay. So this one, the Primordial Might Crimson Jewel, 26% increased damage if you summon a golem in the last 8 seconds. I don't really do that. I don't really do that at all, if I'm just honest. Golem summon in the last 8 seconds deal 42% increased damage. We don't really care. What we're trying to get out of this is your golems are more aggressive, which means they kind of pursue kills a little bit more. Very expensive. Very, very expensive. Along with this was expensive. Everything else was super cheap in this. But as far as our progress through the tree, we're just going for jewel sockets and also increasing our curses. Again, I may have to get more defenses in here, and we may just totally drop the tri-curse setup. But I went for this life node off to the left, and immediately for the death attunement, just to give the golems more attack speed. I grabbed the double curse pretty early on as well. Right around the time I hit Act 3, I was able to blasphemy and double curse mobs. Then I started making my way down the left side of the tree here, grabbing the might and agility, because we need dexterity for the greater multiple projectiles, and we need strength to dual wield those hammers to summon multiple golems. So I just kind of grabbed those and then made my way down the left side of the tree here. We picked up pet damage later on. We picked up this later on. I just went straight for these life nodes and straight for these strength nodes just to make sure that I could use those weapons as early as possible. And then from there, we're just looking for jewels and we're just looking for health along the way. Again, grabbing these for the stats required for our gems that we're using in our gear, and picking up the bonus to curses at the top right here, at the bottom left here, and of course the dual curse up here at the top left. Again, this part is recent, but I went to the left here on the far side to grab sovereignty, and this is so that we have a reduced cost on our blasphemy stuff that we have going on. So 6% reduced mana reserve, 4% reduced mana reserve, 4% reduced mana reserve. We wanted to make sure that we could cast all of our curses with and still be able to use our mana. And to help with that, again, we do have an enlightened support. This is a level 3. You can get a corrupted version that's level 4 that I can't fucking afford. I can't fucking afford that at all. But it's definitely an option. And basically, the result is that we just walk around. We do all of that complicated bullshit, so we can just hold left click. Your character is no longer the hero of the story. Your flame golems are now the hero of the world. Your flame golems will lead you to victory. This is a boss, and he's dead. So that basically, that's everything, I think. Again, I am using a lot of these attack speed jewels. I think I'm going to drop most of these. These are primordial eminence. Golems have, this rolls up to 20%, and there's no extra cost. And I learned that later on, but you can get 20% increased attack speed, increase the radius of the buff granted, which I don't use at all, and then your pets also have increased armor. I'm thinking about just dropping that for these gems where they have a lower cooldown, and there would also be some synergy with the lower cooldown as well, with the Beacon of Corruption. So when your golems die, which as I'm getting to higher and higher content, the golems do die every now and then, not very often. As they die, they're going to leave this puddle of chaos on the ground, and you would want to be able to resummon a golem very quickly, or it really becomes a problem. There is one talent I need. I just talented out of it for this video. I just refunded for this video. This one little point of reduced mana reservation, I need that to kind of pull off this build, because you want to have enough mana to be able to resummon a golem, and as you can see right now, I actually can't. We're just we're like 8 mana off or something. 6 mana off from being able to do it. So I can either increase my mana or just lower the amount of mana that we have reserved, and that would be okay. Look, I'm going to do another map. I'll show you how it works one more time, just because it's a stream and it's kind of weird to do like a fucking 10-minute stream, you know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got. What do we got? Where do I keep my maps? This is a disaster. Don't judge me. Let's do a race course. Race course is usually pretty easy, right? We'll just show the clear speed. We'll go in and we'll hit stuff. Again, this isn't the cheapest build in the world. This probably wouldn't be a league starter. But, I mean, if you have a friend that wants to play and you have a shit ton of currency and you just want to be like, here you go. Here you go. You play the game. You walk around. It works really well for that. Also, we just got the news that this game is coming out on the consoles as well, or at least will be soon. And I would imagine that this works perfectly fine for consoles because there's no complexity in the actual gameplay at all. All of the complexity just comes in the preparation for getting the build off the ground and actually getting it to work. I wonder how trading on the consoles is actually going to take place. That's actually pretty interesting. But as you can see, clear speed is just fine. You just kind of roll right through everything. You clear as fast as you can walk. And while it may not be the build for everybody, you know, it's definitely a lot of fun for me. I definitely really enjoy it. This is so laggy. Oh, we're so dead. I can't move. Oh, what the fuck? Not dead. We did it. So, that's the build. I like it. You don't have to. That's okay. I want to progress it a little bit further, at least get another 10 levels or so with it, to kind of see where it caps off at, kind of see which adjustments I have to make. And I also need to dedicate a lot more currency into the actual defensive gear that this comes with, because my gear sucks. My gear sucks real bad. But also with this setup, I don't really want to give up the 6 slot, you know? So I kind of feel like I need to go from the tabula rasa straight into a 6 slot chess piece, which I currently don't have the funds for. Also, I know I'm missing a lot of currency. I want to show you how the build plays, not how I pick up loot with the build. But that is a good part of this build. You have plenty of time to actually just pick up shit. You know, if you're into that. Alright, everybody. That's going to be it for me today. I know, very, very, very short stream. I am going to be streaming on the Squadron channel in about an hour if you want to catch me over there playing some Heroes of the Storm. If not, that is okay too. This is the arena. Let's kill the boss then. Let's just kill the boss then. If you did enjoy this explanation and the idea behind this build, I encourage you to hit the thumbs up button. I would very much appreciate it. And it's been pretty fun. It's been pretty damn... I'm so dead. No, I'm not dead. There's so much chaos damage. It's been pretty fun. And kind of having this as an idea and then being able to actually make it happen feels really, really, really fucking good. I'm going to go back and pick up all my currency that I left. And all this other shit that I left. And I'll see you guys later. Hey, goodbye.